Well, hello, friends. Pastor Tim Marvel from the Allen Park Presbyterian Church. We thought that we might do something a little bit special, and if it works out, we'll continue to do it. But a lot of times there's references that are made in the sermon on Sunday, and sometimes there's more in-depth or some backstories to them. So I wanted to start this off by sharing something about this fishing pole. Last Sunday, if you happen to be watching online or here, I talked about fishing with the kids during the kids' sermon, and I had this pole. And it actually has quite a bit of meaning to me, and I wanted to share that backstory with you. Now, what we were talking about was the story about Jesus going to his first disciples who were fishermen and said, "Come and follow me, and I will make you fishers of men," or fishers of people. And we talked about how fishing is often viewed in our lives as something that we do for recreation. But we had to remember, to really understand the fullness of what Jesus was asking them to do, was the fact that this was their livelihood. This is the way that they made a living, that they supported themselves and their families. And Jesus said, "I'm going to have you use all of those skills that you developed in fishing, but we're going to switch and we're going to fish for people." Of course, he's talking about making people into disciples. The fishing pole that I used, as an example, I have had it for, I think, going on 20 years, and I've never used it. Now, I have a lot of fishing poles that I have used, and if you were listening to my sermon, I told you about how I used to fish so much in my youth, and then I went to seminary at the age of 42. And when I found out that when I fished after that, I never caught anything. I never caught any. I still don't, but I still have all the gear and everything. But this is a pole that I forgot that I had. We lived in New Jersey, and I think I know where I got this because it has the tag on it. I actually won this in a raffle. It was a Ducks Unlimited raffle, and I won it. And it came complete with a tackle box and a reel and this pole. And what had happened was two friends and me had actually gone together to buy the raffle tickets. There was a number of prizes. We didn't win anything other than this. And we said, well, what are we going to do? So my buddy took the reel, the other buddy took the tackle box, and I took this. And I intended to use it. But I put it up. I put it away in the garage. I came home from that dinner. I pulled it out of the car. I said, oh, this doesn't break down. And I don't know, if you fish and you have long poles, they get broken all the time in the tips. Well, I didn't want that to happen because it is a very, very nice pole. It was top of the line 20 years ago. So I actually put it into a safe place in the garage. And then I didn't touch it. And then we moved from New Jersey to our first call in Michigan, and it got moved. And I put it in the garage in Homer. And it was there for a dozen years. And then we took the call to Allen Park, and we moved from Homer to Allen Park, and I found it again, and I'm like, oh. So I put it in the garage here. I'd forgotten all about it. I should use it. But now I get giggling about it because here's something that if you saw where all the rest of my poles were, they're just kind of jumbled into a corner, and the lines are all tangled, and there's different lures that are on them. And if you wanted to take one, it would probably take you a couple minutes to get it out of that spaghetti mess. But here's this one. I wonder, when something happens to me, and it comes time for my kids to clean it out, they're going to come to that garage and they're going to say, oh, think of all the fishing rods that Dad has. This must have been like this most special one because he never used it. Well, and the fact of the matter is I've never used it because I put it away where it couldn't be used. I want you to think about that in terms of your faith. How many times do we take our faith and we only pull it out when it's convenient to us? But really, it would be helpful to us, and it's the abundant life that Christ calls us to make sure that we have our faith out in the open at all times. So I'm not planning on anything happening to me, but if my kids happen to see this, when this is pulled out, don't make this into a wonderful thing that needs to be honored forever and ever and ever, thinking it was my most favorite pole. In fact, I couldn't have cared too much about it because I put it away. Now, what do I do with this pole? Do I use it? Well, I've already told you I don't catch very many fish anymore. So I think this needs to go to somebody who's going to use it, and use it a lot, and use it to catch fish. Because that is what fishing poles were made for. It's also what our faith was made for. I hope you enjoyed this little backstory. I hope God continues to bless you abundantly, and we look forward to seeing you in church on Sundays. God bless. Bye-bye.